Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I'm a Course in Miracles student. I have been for 40 years. I'm going through the lessons this year, asking Jesus to clarify for me. And I'm writing from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do today is talk about our review. There's an introduction to review 6. And then later I'm going to talk about lesson 201. So let's do the review. Introduction. Paragraph 1. For this review, we take but one idea each day and practice it as often as is possible. Besides the time you give morning and evening, which should not be less than 15 minutes, and the hourly remembrances you make throughout the day, use the idea as often as you can between them. Each of these ideas alone would be sufficient for salvation if it were learned truly. Each would be enough to give release to you and to the world from every form of bondage and invite the memory of God to come again. Jesus has our attention in this first paragraph. He is strongly advising us to pay attention to this practice by telling us that each of these ideas alone could wake us up. In fact, he tells us each one could release us and the world with us from bondage and invite the memory of God to come again. I'm taking time now to contemplate this. I don't want to make the mistake of letting the words flow over me without understanding their importance. It makes me laugh now that I used to not think the reviews the reviews were very important, and now I see how truly important they are. Paragraph 2. With this in mind, we start our practicing, in which we carefully review the thoughts the Holy Spirit has bestowed on us in our last 20 lessons. Each contains a whole curriculum, if understood, practiced, and accepted, and applied to all the seeming happenings throughout the day. One is enough, but from that one, there must be no exceptions made. And so we need to use them all and let them blend as one, as each contributes to the whole we learn. Jesus says that each of the last 20 lessons contains a whole curriculum. I was thinking as we did them that they were really important, and I see now that they were. Here is what we need to do if we want this remarkable experience of becoming free of the world, so that we can be in the world, but not of the world. Ask Holy Spirit to clarify and expand your understanding. This is what I do when I write in the mornings. Practice the lesson. Practice it as closely to the instructions as you can, but without guilt when you fail to practice perfectly. Accept the Holy Spirit's gift of correction and healing. I just open my mind and heart to receive and trust that I'm being guided to something wonderful. That's all we need to do. Deeply desire what is being offered. Apply the lessons during the day. Apply them to everything that is happening in this classroom we call our life. Most importantly, make no exceptions. Apply it to all circumstances, not allowing yourself to deliberately leave anything in your mind you set aside to be dealt with alone. That is, with the ego. I find this last one the trickiest because we have trained ourselves to deny what we don't want to see. I've learned to be super vigilant these days for those areas of my life that I'm not giving to the Holy Spirit. Those beliefs are the ones that I consign to a dark corner of my mind and pretend I don't see what is happening. I'm getting pretty good at finding them. because my desire to remember God has become stronger than my desire to resist. 3, these practice sessions, like our last review, are centered around a central theme with which we start and end each lesson. It is this: I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. The day begins and ends with this, and we repeat it every time the hour strikes, or we remember in between we have a function that transcends the world we see. Beyond this, and a repetition of the special thought we practice for the day, no form of exercise is urged except a deep relinquishment of everything that clutters up the mind and makes it deaf to reason, sanity, and simple truth. It is taking me so long to reach a state of fundamental well-being that I am amazed at how simple this really is. I am as God created me, and everything in my mind that is not in God is something to release because it's not in my best interest to keep it. Even now, I still run into some belief that I have been hiding from myself, and I can become frustrated with myself because of this conflict. I want to be free, but evidently there's a belief that I don't want to give up. But no matter what, I will give it up because I cannot tolerate conflict anymore. Here's an example of how this works for me. This morning, as I was reading the introduction, I realized it was happening again. It was so weird how we can hide the obvious from our attention when we want to. But my desire to be free is stronger than my desire to oppose it. The thought that came into my mind was this: why am I experiencing so much pain in the body? It started with pain in my thumb, then pain in my foot, and after a few months, sciatica pain, and now pain in the lower back. All this pain in spite of the fact that I'm very healthy. And only this morning did I put this all together and think to question it. I know from the study of the Course that pain is not real. It is a thought in my mind that is projected onto the image of this body. I feel the pain only because I'm still identified with the body. What is this pain telling me? It is an effect of an untrue belief. And though I know this is true, I'm flummoxed. So I talked to the Holy Spirit about it, asking him to help me see clearly and to undo what is seen. He reminded me of this passage from the Course. Your starting point is truth, and you must return to your beginning. Much has been seen since then, but nothing has really happened. Yourself is still at peace, even though your mind is in conflict. So I'm still as God created me. Nothing has changed. I must have a conflicted mind, and I need to instruct it so that I can return to peace. Jesus tells us this in lesson 91. Faith goes to what you want, and you instruct your mind accordingly. I want a peaceful mind, and I want to remember God, and it seems that the ego is opposing this still. Holy Spirit led me to lesson 136. It says, sickness is a defense against the truth. I will accept the truth of what I am and let my mind be wholly healed today. And so I instruct my mind that this is my goal. Pain and suffering are no longer on the agenda and must be released. I'm confused as to why I'm choosing to resist at this point, and I ask the Holy Spirit to continue to show me what it is that I need to look at with him. I know that in the end, it is always my desire to reach my goal that takes me there. And the purer my desire, the faster it happens. I surrender to the Holy Spirit in this as in all things. And the presence of a past desire to remain tied to the world does not in any way prevent me from choosing again. I will instruct my mind often today of my true state, which is, I am still as God created me, and I have no desire to be anything else. Paragraph 4. We will attempt to get beyond all words and special forms of practicing for this review. For we attempt this time to reach a quickened pace along a shorter path to the serenity and peace of God. We merely close our eyes and then forget all that we thought we knew and understood. For thus is freedom given us from all we did not know and failed to understand. Here's the thing we are to do in our practice of this review. We merely close our eyes and then forget all that we thought we knew and understood. Sounds simple, but I notice that the ego mind is not easy to shut down. It may be impossible for any length of time. I don't know. But for the few minutes dedicated to this practice, I will do my best. And if my mind wanders to that which I think I know and understand, I will gently bring it back to patient attentiveness so that I can be informed as to what is actually true. It is a way I instruct the mind that there are going to be changes and it needs to pay attention. And it is the way I tell the Holy Spirit that I want a healed mind. 5, there is but one exception to this lack of structuring. Permit no idle thought to go unchallenged. If you notice one, deny its hold and hasten to assure your mind that this is not what you would have. Then gently let the thought which you denied be given up in sure and quick exchange for the idea we practice for the day. 6, when you're tempted, hasten to proclaim your freedom from temptation as you say, this thought I do not want. I choose instead, and then repeat the idea for the day, and let it take the place of what you thought. Beyond such special applications for each day's idea, we will add but a few formal expressions or specific thoughts to aid in practicing. Instead, we give these times of quiet to the teacher who instructs in quiet, speaks of peace, and gives our thoughts whatever meaning they may have. It is important that we not let any idle thought go unchallenged. The implication is that idle thoughts are the way to keep ourselves bound to this world. Jesus is giving us a practice that will help the mind to accept the new instructions. It is short and simple. Notice interfering thoughts and then instruct the mind that we don't want that thought anymore. And this is what we want instead. Here we use the lesson for the day. So today I will say that I choose instead to remember that I can trust my brothers who are one with me. 7, to him I offer this review for you. I place you in his charge and let him teach you what to do and say and think each time you turn to him. He will not fail to be available to you each time you call to him to help you. Let us offer him the whole review we now begin, and let us also not forget to whom it has been given as we practice day by day, advancing toward the goal he set for us, allowing him to teach us how to go, and trusting him completely for the way each practice period can best become a loving gift of freedom to the world. This is gratitude for what we're given when we surrender completely to the Holy Spirit. And why would I not? I've proven over and over that I am not a reliable teacher. I'm so grateful that I have given a teacher who knows everything and gladly responds to my every desire to live awake in this world while I seem to still be here. So thank you so much for joining me in this review. And later today, I will look at lesson 201 with us. Thank you for joining me. And if you found it helpful, please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And thanks to all of you who already have. And I'll be back later with a lesson.